Hello, my name's Hunter and welcome to the elevator pitch version of a paper I wrote last year for class. Before starting to talk about Amazon, I want to first lay a sort of groundwork by talking about the history of labor in America. Basically, the AFL was the first big nationwide union group. Issue is, and I'm oversimplifying here, they were racist. In comes the CIO, a much more progressive union group which heavily supported FDR in his New Deal ventures. This included the passage of the Wagner Act, which greatly helped union membership take off in the 1930s. However, less than a decade later, the Taft-Hartley Act revised the Wagner Act to take away any teeth it might have had legally and gave companies all sorts of leeways through which to union bust. Fast forward to today, and we have Amazon's treatment of their employees. What you see behind me is a TOT, or time off task chart. In it is a record of all instances where employees were not being productive, a metric determined by various digital surveillance technologies, be it their handheld scanners, cameras around the warehouse, or their trackable employee IDs. Couple this constant surveillance with the knowledge that the worker is easily replaceable, as Amazon only sets up fulfillment centers in towns with very tight labor markets, and the worker, internalizing the precariousness of their own employment, will work themselves past healthy limits. In 2021, across all warehouse injuries in the US, 49% occurred in Amazon fulfillment centers. These injuries accumulate slowly and could be easily preventable if workers weren't so fearful of reprimand for taking it easy or taking a few days off. Injuries can be caused by the task of moving packages with widely varying weights, anywhere from a charger to a chainsaw. Additionally, heat is a consistent cause of workers fainting on the job, another very preventable issue so prominent Amazon has been known to station medics outside the warehouses on bad days. I argue that these digital and physical technologies oppress workers with the at least partial intent to dissuade them from cooperating a union. See, Amazon hates unions a lot. On top of these digital and physical technologies, there are social technologies that Amazon, through its company policy, makes managers employ onto workers. With how brief these videos have to be, I'm going to leave you with a training video instructing managers on potential red flags that union organizing might be taking place. The video was leaked by an anonymous Amazon exec, and while it's playing, I'll throw some fun facts on screen.
The most obvious signs would include use of words associated with unions or union-led movements like living wage or steward, petitions or other concerted activity, such as an associate purporting to speak on behalf of his or her coworkers when raising concerns. Examples include associates who normally aren't connected to each other suddenly hanging out together, associates who were close suddenly stop speaking to each other, groups of associates scatter when approached by management, increased associate negativity, anger, or confrontation, unusual complaints or change in passion or detail around complaints, unusual interest in policies, benefits, employee lists, or other company information, or any other associate behavior that is out of character. For example, an associate who normally leaves promptly begins hanging out in the break room for an hour after work each day. In order to recognize warning signs, it is critical that you know what an associate's normal behavior looks like. Often, it is the change in behavior that is the warning sign, more than the actual behavior itself.